All right, guys, welcome back. Monday. Let's start this up. For those of you that still keep track of your days. Today, we're going to go over, because we've been working on a lot of our foundational moves. So now we're going to put some of our foundational moves into a basic sequence, right? Before we begin, let's remember our emphasis, right? We always step back when we parry, right? If you're guarding, you should retreat. We always lunge, parry, recover, right? We're always leading with the edge of our sword, And finally, remember that we are play by sense of touch. Hi, Ripley. We always are playing by our sense of touch, right? If you don't feel it, then you have to react based on that. That's the idea. Did you help her out there, Dar? Alright, go with Sissy. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm going to start close for this one. So what we're going to be working on is walking through all of our parries, and after every parry, we're going to work on getting a riposte, a counter lunge, right? So whenever we block, we're going to work on where would we counter with an attack. If you only defend, your opponent merely has to pry open your defense. If you only attack, your opponent merely has to wait for your attack and hit you when you're open, right? We need to balance ourselves. So when we are defending, we have to be prepared to, at a minimum, threaten our opponent. A threatened opponent will not be allowed to decide or dictate the tempo, the speed, the measure of the fight. They'll be fighting with concern, worried about the fact that you want to stab them, right? So we want to remember that when we're playing. Just general idea for you guys. So, on guard, and it doesn't matter, let me make sure I got my, which on guard you fight from. I like to do high for demonstration. You know I fight in a low, right? But just getting that good on guard, check your feet like we do. Remember, the point of this 5 minutes a day is to work on the details. Make sure your details stay good, you know? Okay. From our on guard, let's walk through simple parry. We're doing it nice and slow. We'll go through it all, then we'll repeat. Parry 1, bringing my hand up, blade across. Remember, with all parries, we have that step back. So parry 1, clearing my body, getting my off arm out of the way. Now, how do you lunge from a 1? This is the starting parry, and it's one of the most awkward, right? Think about how you could attack. You've got options. I've seen people do cuts. I've seen people go for thrusts. Depends, you know, context will dictate, right? It's always going to be about context. So for me from here, I'm going to remove my opponent's blade as I counter lunge. Recover. Parry 2. From a low guard for me. From a high guard, you have that crescent. From a low guard, I'm going to cross my center line. From here, and remember, parry 2 is in front of you. A lot of people start to parry 2 back here. No. Parry 2 is in front of you. Still bent, right? But in front. Parry 2, right? Now, lunging from here is pretty easy. Bring my tip back online. I extend. I lunge. I recover, right? Parry 3. Making that wall of steel on my strong side. Parry 3. Dropping my tip, I would lunge. On guard. Parry 4. Coming through that center line. Gotta get my offhand in the right spot. Extend. And if you can bring their blade off, boom, do that too. Recover. Running out of room, so I'm going to reset. On guard. Parry 5, crescenting up. And again, parry 5 is one of those ones you got options. I'm going to watch my roof here, but I've seen people try to cut through and come back around. There's options you can do. I'm going to be focusing on the quickest and most effective move I can think of, which is always going to be a thrust. Cuts are nice. Thrusts tend to be easier to feel on your opponent. They feel them more often. And more effective when it comes to dealing damage with this kind of blade. So again, coming up to my 5, right? Parry 5. I'm going to bring my tip online like I would from a 2. Lunge. Got it? Recover. On guard. Parry 6. Now I'm going to be using my modified 6, but I'm going to show you both versions of 6. If I were going to have from a low guard, right, circling up into my 6, crossing that center line and gaining that blade, and my modified 6 using the false edge, the back of my blade, to come up through my center line and stop. Either one of these is fine. I'm working from a low guard and want to get my snap modified 6 because it is faster. Traveling through and getting that line is about half a second slower. For those of you that have worked with me or fence, you know that half a second, you can be stabbed 3 times, right? I will kill you 3 times in half a second. It's a reality we work in. Chest at 90 miles an hour. Foundation, right? Now I'm going to do my 6, and for me I'm going to modify it. Modified 6, boom. From here, extend, lunge, recover, right? On guard. Now I'm going to do 7 from a high guard to show you guys to get that good crescent. On guard, carry 7, boom, crescenting down through. Lunging from here is, if you've actually parried their blade, you can follow them back up fairly easily. Boom, 7, right? Recover, parry 8, and I'll do parry 8 from a high guard too. Boom, right? Parry 8, similar, if I'm trying to get that counter, coming back in. Now I bring my hand off to guard this kind of area, that's my goal. Recover, and parry 9. Crossing that center line. And again, watching my roof, I've seen options where people will sling a blade out. I've seen options where people will actually redirect down. Careful about crossing your center line always. But for me, again, going for that fastest one, aligning my tip in for the thrust. Got it? Recover. So we've done 1 through 9. Now we're going to do them again, but we're going to go a little faster without the breakdown. On guard, parry 1, lunge, recover, boom. Parry 2, lunge, recover, boom. Parry 3, lunge, recover, boom. A little bit out of room. On guard, parry 4, lunge, recover, boom. Parry 5, lunge, recover. Yes, Ripley. Yes, Ripley. Beautiful. I'll just reset. On guard. Parry 6. Lunge. Recover. Parry 7. Lunge. Recover. Parry 8. Lunge. Recover. Last one. Hold on. Wait for me to finish, baby, okay? Parry 9, lunge, recover. All right, we've gone through our circle of parries. We've gone through the idea of reposting after you parry, right, the counter lunge. And it's a good move set to build on. Now we did them nice and slow right now. Keep doing them nice and slow, but try to build it to become smooth, right? If I'm doing my parry lunge, right? That wasn't faster, but I took the pause out. Instead of getting that parry lunge, I made it 1, right? I get that initial parry lunge. I'm going about the same speed, but I'm adding that flow, that transition between the 2 movements. And this isn't unique. All fighters will finish a mental sequence and pause, right? Like, I'm going to parry here, feint there, and then attack on the other side. And you'll have some version, you know, where it goes, they get the initial parry, they get the feint, they make the attack, and then they stop. There's a moment where you stop moving. That in-between time is a habit we want to work hard to remove, because that in-between time is the best time to stab someone. If someone finishes a sequence and hesitates, doesn't move, right? It's the equivalent of throwing a shot at an immobile target. Now, I've fought a lot of people, but I don't miss when I try to stab a tree, right? If you're not moving, you will be hit. So that's one of the bonuses of working on this drill and slowly building that fluidity, that legato, right? Staccato is when you have the ta, 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 This is legato. You're going in one beautiful motion, out, stomping, right? Okay. Have a great day, everybody. Keep working on your swords. Post comments so I don't have to make everything up. It's easier on me.